And Jim Furyk, kind enough to join us on golf today. Jim, golf fans have been familiar with you the last 30-plus years. Decorated PGA Tour winner, major champion, FedEx Cup champ, Ryder Cup captain. Are they now going to see another side of you as an analyst?
Well, yes, for API, for the players. I'm excited, actually. Get to kind of sit on the other side of the mic and get to talk a little bit, with some friends. I mean, got a great group with Terry Gannon, Steve Sands, Kurt Byram up in the booth. So I know all those guys pretty well. And I'm going to enjoy the conversation, talk about something I've been doing, as you said, for 30 years. Hopefully add a little fun to the game, add a little bit of just knowledge of what I've been doing for the last 30 years and maybe what's going through the players' heads as they're out there competing. And, we all know Bay Hill is a difficult golf course. The setup's always tough. And so anxious to get out there, watch some golf and talk golf with some friends.
I'm curious, was this a no-brainer for you, Jim? Was there any trepidation at all? Why would you want to do this? Golf's been a huge part of your life, and I'm just fascinated why this is something you'd want to take on.
Yeah, I haven't been playing much. Last year I was injured. I had a hip replacement. I played one golf tournament. I've kept myself busy with some golf course design work with Furyk Golf Design. And but, I find myself watching TV on Sunday evenings. I like to see how the tournaments shake out. Last week at Cognizant was amazing. Tough finish for Shane, but really an exciting finish for the viewers. And so I think, the opportunity arose to kind of give it a try, to kind of dip my toe in the waters. And I thought it'd be a lot of fun. I'm definitely not taking it for granted. I know what you all do is very difficult. I know there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. And but I'm excited to give it a try. And as I said, we talked about, you said 30 years. I think I have a lot to add to the broadcast. I think, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. But I know it's a lot of hard work and excited to get to it.
You're a voice in the game that's very accomplished and carries some weight. As you've been preparing for this, and I know throughout your career you were meticulous inside the ropes, are there any other voices either within golf or other sports that you've looked at from an analyst perspective and said, hey, that could be maybe a style or a style potentially that would resonate with you?
Surely there's folks you love to watch, whether it's baseball, football, golf, whatever it may be, your favorite sports. There's folks you like to listen to. I think really you kind of, my guess is a lot of it's going to be trial by fire, right? You're going to have to hop in the seat and kind of figure it out. There's not a lot of practice that you can do to get ready for it. But, I really feel like you have to be yourself. And hopefully that, I was a guy that when I played, I was very serious. I didn't smile a lot. But I think my friends know me as very lighthearted. I like to kind of dig the needle. I like to have a little bit of fun. So hopefully that personality comes out. Hopefully the fans see it. And, as far as preparation, I was a guy that really, I heard a lot of folks say that they felt like when they got to an event that maybe I outworked them preparation wise. And so kind of, I think I learned that along the way, right? I played practice rounds with Tom Kite. I played practice rounds with folks that I really felt were very prepared and kind of learned along the way what they were doing and how I could add to that. And so, I think working along professionals, Steve, Terry, Kurt, I think folks that have been in the business for a long time will be a huge help and surely have some things to learn. But I've been doing some homework and trying to get ready.
Jim, there are viewers who absolutely love this game. They're passionate about it. They play the game. How do you plan on informing them? What would you like the viewer to learn from you?
I just think about a little bit about maybe what's going through a player's mind on certain shots, trying to describe more than what they can see, why it's happening. I think, when talking to Tommy Roy, the producer of both NBC and Golf Channel, really giving the viewer an insight to what's going through a player's mind and why things are happening for a reason. Why is everyone missing this putt low? And so I think, talking golf, giving a little bit of knowledge about what I know about Bay Hill, what I know about the game, what I know about tournament golf. And again, really kind of leaning on a team, right? Like I said, I've got so much experience in the booth and just have a conversation and talk to my buddies about what we're seeing out there.
Let's spin it ahead to this week at Bay Hill. You got 3 events on the PGA Tour named after a player: Arnold Palmer Invitational, Byron Nelson in May, the Memorial tied to Jack Nicklaus. When you think of the King, what are the memories that come to mind?
I think I remember the first time I ever met him. It was at the AT. Believe it or not, it was probably my second year on tour at the AT&T out at Pebble Beach. But I think more than anything, and I think you look at his storied career, you look at what he did for the game and for the PGA Tour. But I think it's really how, when I think of Arnie, I think really of how he treated people, how he would look you in the eye, how he would shake your hand, how he would make a total stranger feel so important and just make him comfortable. And he just had a knack for that. And surely that's why he has the name the King. There's only one and only Arnold Palmer, and just an amazing person in the game of golf.
Oh, yeah, made everybody feel like they were 10 feet tall. Speaking of earlier in your career, Jim, I'll never forget being in a reporter's scrum, 2004 U.S. Open at Shinnecock. We kind of corralled you by the practice green, and you kind of joked like since you'd won the U.S. Open the previous year, it's as if your IQ went up by 50 and suddenly you were the smartest man in the game. How did that U.S. Open victory kind of change your life in terms of the things you've been able to do, but also the eyeballs that were on you from not just for the fans, but from the media who would constantly be knocking on your door?
Yeah, surely it changed my career. We're always going to be, you talk about my career and how many wins on the PGA Tour, and then you're going to go immediately to how many major championships, how many big events were won. And so that U.S. Open, I let a lot of major championships slip by, got beat by some great players, maybe made a few mistakes down the stretch and let a few slip. But surely that's my greatest victory. And yeah, I always used to joke that, you win a major, you show up the next week, and there's just a lot of eyeballs, a lot of pressure, a lot of mics in your face, all of a sudden starting to ask you about worldly events instead of just what's going on in the game of golf. And it kind of made me laugh. But I think at that point in my career, I was already 9 or 10 years deep into my career. I was a rookie in 1994. I won the U.S. Open in 2003. I think it was about my 7th win or so on the PGA Tour. So I was established. I was really comfortable in my own skin. Making that step wasn't a giant leap for me. It wasn't something that I had to get too comfortable with. And so I'm kind of thankful that things kind of progressed in my career. I got from college golf to professional golf relatively quickly. That happened fast, but the maturity process and the success kind of came at a nice even keel and a nice pace where I never felt overwhelmed, or I never felt like I had to live up to expectations, which can be very difficult for a young player. So, a lot of guys go out there and maybe win quickly or win a major quickly in their career, and it kind of throws them for a loop and makes it difficult because that expectation builds up so high that they try to live up to it. And then I really only had to live up. I was my toughest critic, and I kind of lived up to the expectations I had of myself, but really never felt that pressure from the outside. So I feel like my career kind of happened in the right progression. It was very fortunate for me.
Right time as well. And Arnold Palmer famously said, swing your swing, something that you did throughout your career. If you were Jim Furyk, the 15-year-old these days, and with the proliferation of video everywhere when it comes to teaching, swing instruction, and analysis, could Jim Furyk 2.0 exist in present day?
I mean, I'm really happy with the way things went and the progression. I was lucky to have my father was my teacher. He really believed what became natural was repeatable and it would hold up under pressure. That if you had to break something down and rebuild a brand new golf swing, that under the gun, it might not hold up. And so, what would I tell myself early career? I probably wouldn't mess with my golf swing. It was my thumbprint. It was unique to me, but I trusted it and I understood my swing. I think if I had to go back and young Jim Furyk, I probably would have worked out a little earlier in my career. I would have maintained and took care of my body a little better in my career. I was very lucky that I avoided injury for most of my career, but that side of the game, the bigger, stronger, faster, more powerful, more developed athlete, we didn't have those training techniques back in 1994. The fitness trailer was more a place to go to take care of wounds, not necessarily get ready for the next day. And so if I could go back, I think taking care of myself a little bit better, understanding the physical demands that were going to be put upon me in my 30s, 40s, into my 50s, I probably would have trained a little bit better for that and prepared better for it.
But if you were 15 now in 2026, do you think you would still have the same swing that you had?
God, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? Everyone listening out there, that'd be nice.
But do you think your swing would be the same now in present day, or that with video at such a young age that maybe you would have had a different look with the rebirth of Jim Furyk?
Yeah, video was starting. I mean, the old camcorders and VHS, and I had some friends that through junior golf and through college that were really interested in video. It just, I think a lot of it's going to depend on your teacher. I think there's a lot of players on tour that their teacher is relying on video, but not necessarily they're going over and watching the tape. They're more field players. And I just wasn't that technical. I didn't want to know where my wrist was at the top of my swing. I wasn't connecting the dots. I worked through shot shapes. I worked through feels. And my dad and I kind of developed our own language as far as getting through the golf swing. And so I really don't. There are teachers out there that said, "Oh man, if I could have got a hold of you at the age of 16 and we could have changed your swing, maybe it could have been better. Maybe you would have won 30 times on tour and not 17. And maybe I would have won 2 as well, or maybe I wouldn't have made the tour." And so you have to kind of look at it that way. I really think that I'm unique. I think my golf swing was unique. But I was very fortunate to have a teacher that didn't try to break it down, didn't try to change it, worked with my natural talent, my natural ability and athletic skills. And then we just tried to refine and hone in all those fundamentals that, and every year just got a little bit better. But I had a lot of friends that joined the tour, guys that we were rookies together, second-year players together, that would watch a Nick Price or a Nick Faldo or one of the best players in the world that had a beautiful golf swing. And they immediately said, well, they're the best player in the world. Their swing looks perfect. I have to swing like that. And a lot of those guys quickly disappeared from the PGA Tour. So I think I was just very fortunate that once you're at that age, once you've ingrained a swing, and I left for college and then into professional golf, that's your golf swing, and you got to make the best of it and play with what you got.
Jim, before we let you go, a lot of changes happening at the PGA Tour, discussions, signature events versus smaller PGA Tour events. Getting out of the shadow, perhaps, of the National Football League, new leadership under CEO Brian Rolapp. Your thoughts on what you're seeing as the PGA Tour tries to, keep up with the big boys in the NFL and Major League Baseball, et cetera?
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's keeping up with the NFL. I don't know about y'all, but whether it's NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, I mean, the NFL's king at the moment. So I don't know if we're really competing with the NFL, but I think I have a lot of questions, just like everyone else, just like you do. There's talks of our tour shrinking to a smaller number of events. Maybe that's 25, a smaller number of players that would be exempt. My questions are very simple. Like, how do you get on said tour? How do you fall off said tour? I love watching. I loved watching Riviera. I loved watching Jacob Bridgman go out there and, take on Rory McIlroy. Rory's trying to chase him down on Sunday, and the kid stood in there, made a great putt at 16. Still had to make a 3.5-footer on 18, knocked it right in the middle. But I love watching a young talent go on to win a golf tournament. And I like seeing fields that are 120 players deep at a minimum. It allows a young player and someone that has a lot of talent to step up, to compete against the best players and go down the stretch and learn and win. And I think everyone wants to watch Scotty. Everyone wants to watch Rory. But seeing a guy like that come through and compete and win, and he's got off to such a great year this year. I think every event in the top 20 on the PGA Tour. So I love that part of it. And then I also worry, if we go to a 25-event schedule, what happens for the other 27 weeks? There's going to be a silly season. There's going to be other tours, other folks that are going to try to get in there and lure the players into playing. So I think more than anything, just learning more about it. Before I question it, before I say this won't work, I think just gathering more information, understanding where the tour wants to go would mean a lot more. And I think right now we're all kind of in a little bit of a, wait, hold, pause, and see where we're going before we can be too critical.
I think we're all in wait and see mode, and that'll be the next big step for Brian Rolapp in his new role as PGA Tour CEO, and excited to see your new role this week as part of the call for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Jim, good to spend some time with you.
You as well. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks, guys.